In this video, we're going to be covering how to scale your SMMA agency from scratch. What's going on, guys? Nick Friel here, founder of Media Simplified. We are a digital marketing agency that's been in the game for over 8 years. We've helped over 800 clients, and our goal with this channel is to help SMMA agencies and or our client base who are mortgage brokers, real estate agents, lenders to scale their business using online marketing, advertising, systems and processes, and automation. In this video, we're going to be covering how to scale your SMMA agency from scratch. So like the title says, we are going to start from the bottom. We're going to start from scratch. Stage one, where you are doing all of the work for your SMMA. You're doing all of the setting, all of the sales for yourself. You're doing all of the onboarding and fulfillment and training and client success and the tech problems. You're doing it all. A lot of people want to rush past this stage because obviously it's, can be very anxiety provoking. I remember constantly feeling overwhelmed. But with that said, there's a ton of really valuable information and experience that you're going to get from this stage in your development. So if I was to give myself 2 bits of advice, make sure you really understand every facet of the business. You don't have to be an absolute master at everything, but make sure you have a good grasp and you have an understanding and you've developed somewhat of a skill set in setting in the sales department, in the fulfillment and advertising department, in the client success and onboarding, in the tech and the back end. Make sure you have a good understanding and a good knowledge base across all of these different departments so that as you're scaling your team, you actually understand what's happening and you're bringing in people to fulfill certain problems in the business. And you're not just expecting them to be able to figure it out from scratch. Even if you're someone who's more tech oriented and you really don't like doing sales and you like doing the ads and whatnot, in order to grow a team, you still need to have the ability to know what's going on in the sales department. And part 2 of the advice would be document everything from the setting process to the sales, to how the demo should go, how the funnel build out should go, what the ads should look like. Document every single part of the business as much as you possibly can, because this is going to act as kind of a manifesto for your training and your onboarding when you're starting to scale out and bring more people on. So the first thing that we did to scale our business, and keep in mind, I'm giving you the exact formula that my agency used to scale from solopreneur all the way up to a 7-figure full done for you team. The first thing that we did, once again, completely unintentional, was bring in a sales setter. My brother and I were both working out of the house. He was working for life insurance. I was doing digital marketing. He heard my calls. He heard me do it 1,000 times. We got to talking and eventually we agreed that I'd cut him in on the commission if he could help me do the setting end of the calls. I brought him in, had some basic training, and he would do the setting, set me up for demos. I'd get on the demo and close, and I would split some of the commission with him. That worked really well for a couple of months, and we just, repeated that process over and over again. And things got really interesting, and the light bulb really went off when, for the first time, I was able to go on a surf trip to Nicaragua. Before that, I couldn't even afford a passport, so it was the first real trip I ever went on. While I was on the trip, actually out in the water, he got someone on who was really interested, and he couldn't get a hold of me. So he did as best as he could to give the person a demonstration and actually got them to close. Naturally, he proceeded to call me about 48 times and finally got a hold of me once I got out and got back to my phone, and I was blown away. I really never thought that anybody else could do the sales aspect. I was one of those people that I wanted to do everything perfectly, and I really wanted to make sure that each part of the process was done right, and I felt like sales was something that I needed to do. And that light bulb went off that if I bring other people in and I teach them how to do this or I give them training how to do it, they're going to be able to eventually do it better than I can because they can devote more time to it. So from then on, my brother, who was my setter, then became our main salesperson who started doing most of the sales calls that I wasn't taking personally. Getting that sales engine going is huge, especially for agency owners, because that is going to allow you to focus on other aspects of the business. You can go focus on fulfillment and onboarding and client retention because your sales engine is running. The ship is moving forward, the business is growing. Even when you're not doing the sales department or not doing the sales aspect of the business, things are still growing, which is monumental because up until that point, every time you stop doing sales to do something else, the ship's kind of dead in the water. Getting that sales engine going is step 1. in getting a setter and eventually training that person to be a closer. So step 2 that we implemented, once again, just at the time out of absolute necessity, is we brought in a tech team to help with the fulfillment. So I made sure everything was documented with the build outs. It was, a very similar process each time with the ads and the funnels and the build out. So I brought in a tech team to help us build out the basics. I still needed to do quality control and everything, but that allowed me to make sure the sales engine was running and the basic fulfillment was getting done for each client. So I could really focus my time on the client success, onboarding, training aspect of things. So once you have kind of your sales engine going, you have the basic legwork being done for the fulfillment. Now your focus is kind of more so on the client success and onboarding and whatnot. This was the thing I was most kind of hesitant to give control away of, because I really felt like my client relationships were so good because of the communication and the relationship we had. And I felt like that would be hard to replace. Once again, I was proven wrong. I brought in a good friend of mine who was just very personable. I showed him, what we needed to do, hired him on full time. And I would say within, a month, he was every client's favorite person at the agency. We had great client success or great client relations for the entire time he was with us. And that client success manager was really the final piece that allowed me to step back and become more team focused than client focused, because I had the sales engine going, I had the tech and fulfillment being done, I had the client success manager to make sure the onboarding and training was going well. And for the first time, I was able to step back and start working on the business and start focusing on the team and what needed to be done versus constantly reacting and trying to make sure just the necessities were covered. So once we had the big 3 taken care of as far as sales, tech, and client success, the next thing was making sure that our client results were always top tier. So we brought in someone, you can call this an appointment setter, you can call it a conversion specialist, a nurturing specialist, but we brought in someone to make sure our clients' accounts were always getting great results. We're always communicating if they have appointments coming up or if they missed appointments, keeping the pipeline organized. It's almost like a liaison for their account to make sure they're keeping everything nice and organized. They also help with appointment setting and getting applications and all of that. And it just gives that extra touch that we're helping them with a done-for-you service, not just expecting them to kind of do all of the work. And then the last step is to rinse and repeat. So obviously we brought in setter to help with sales. We're getting more sales. We brought in a tech team to help with fulfillment. They're building everything out. Then we brought in a client success manager to help with, onboarding and training. And then the next thing we want to do, go straight back to step 1, and we need to bring in more setters to help our closers get more demos, get more clients, and eventually some of those setters will become closers and the cycle continues. As you scale out, you want to make sure you're also scaling intelligently where no one department is getting kind of lopsided. There's lots of ways to go about hiring. If you're wanting to do something overseas, it's more than a viable option. You just need to make sure everything is documented and laid out really straightforward. Or if you're going to go something in-house, you're going to have, find maybe higher quality people that you can work with day in and day out, and you don't have to give so much direction to, but both have pros and cons. Obviously, working with people overseas, you have phenomenal work and it's going to be a lot cheaper, but you have hour differences and, a bunch of other headaches. Working with someone in-house in the States, going to be a lot more expensive, but also has a ton of pros. And we have a combination of both here at Media Simplified, and we love all of our team. I say we a lot because this is not just me building this. They all know their efforts are as equally important as mine are. And I think this is the best way to scale an agency that I've seen thus far. I'm sure there's other great ways out there, but this is our personal recipe to get from solopreneur all the way up to 7-figure digital marketing agency. This is what we did. And I hope, if anything, this gives you kind of a blueprint or a shortcut to how to scale properly and not get overly lopsided in any one business, so you can have a nice, solid uphill trajectory. With that said, I hope you like this video. If you could comment, like, subscribe, share. Any bit of support is always greatly appreciated. We're going to be doing a lot more videos like this, so please leave your comments below and let us know what you thought about this video. My name is Nick Friel, founder of Media Simplified, and we'll see you on the next one.